back to the poem. An unwise man thinks he'll live forever if only he can avoid a fight. But old age will give him no peace, even if weapons do.
I like this one. There's a lot to say about this, but the first thing that I thought of when I read this was when I was really little. I was playing checkers with a friend, and in checkers there's a rule that if you have an opportunity to jump the other player, you have to do it. But we didn't do that, and we got to a point in the game where it was stuck and we couldn't play anymore. And I think this just really hit that home that if you think you can avoid conflict in your life, you're sorely mistaken. You may be able to grow to old age, but like, what does it mean? All you've done is exist that long. You haven't done anything because living is conflict. So you haven't gone out into the unknown. You haven't gained wisdom. You haven't stood for anything. You haven't fought against anything. You've just sort of been taking up space. And when you're in your old age and you're looking back at your life, will you find any solace in that you never stood for anything or did anything with your life? And the answer is no. You're not, you'll be old and have survived long, but for what? It's hollow. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, back in the first few stanzas, I mean, this is more so of you have to put yourself out there. You have to go into battle. You have to take the risk, because only through taking the risk is there any reward. And it's exactly right that if you don't take those risks, life is going to be meaningless. I think that's why you can get people fall into depression so easily through, maybe unemployment or something like that, and you're just staying at home feeling sorry for yourself, and that can just be a vicious cycle, because it's like then you continue not putting yourself out there and getting nothing out of it. Then you continue to feel bad, worse.
There's actually stanzas later that directly talk about that.
Yeah, so it's just more of the refrain of you have to put yourself out there, go into the unknown.
I think it also talks or points to being able to fight and not being harmless. And if you, again, watch Jordan Peterson, he talks about this frequently, that you don't want to be harmless. You want to have an edge to you that you can use when needed. And I know, so in the Christian religion, there's a call or the lesson that, blessed are the meek. And it's been, I don't know enough about it. I've seen some interpretations of it as the meek being people who are able to fight but choose not to. But I've also seen a lot of just, being meek, and that meek and mild like a lamb, so you'll be blessed, I guess, is the lesson there. But what this is definitely not saying that. It's saying you need to fight, and you need to be able to fight if you want to do anything worthwhile. And that, don't be harmless. Have access to the monster within you, so that when you need it, it's there. But you're not overwhelmed by it. You can control it, so that you're not just a raging lunatic burning everything in sight. You can take it out when you need it, and then put it back when it's not needed.
Absolutely. And I mean, honestly, there's a lot of ways to fight these days. It's not just life or death. Even though in general, it's a good thing to be able to handle yourself in life or death situations. Yeah, in general, that's good. but it's also fighting for, what you believe you deserve, right? You can't do that without actually going out and doing the thing. It's climbing dominance hierarchies. It's having a job. It's fighting for the well-being of yourself and your family. There's different ways to do it. not just literally life and death, but it's in all things you have to fight for everything worthwhile. If you don't have to fight for something, it's probably not going to give you a great reward, right? So
No,
that's what this is saying, I think.
Definitely.